Yep, doing this one in the hallway this time. Anyways, today we're going to be talking about two new movies that are bad. Okay, we're going to talk about Netflix's In Your Dreams and the Disney/Hulu's A Very Jonas Christmas movie. So with that being said, the newest animated film from Netflix is the directorial feature debut of the former Pixar story artist who co-wrote it alongside Erik Benson. And I forgot to write the guy who directed this movie's name. Well, moving on. I'll be honest, I wish I liked this movie. There's a good idea here, but it just doesn't come together, in my opinion. Though, I could see others liking it. The premise is that an older sister and younger brother who don't always get along realize their parents might split up and discover a way to stop that after discovering a book that allows them to enter the dream world, where as long as they got each other's back, work together, face the nightmares to get to the Sandman, who might have their way to make their dream come true of being the perfect family, or so it seems. Yeah, that's kind of how I describe it. It's not a bad idea in a vacuum, but this mostly, for the most part, is you just can't help this feeling of like, I've seen this before. Like, there are so many movies and shows, hell, even by Netflix, that has done stories about people with dreams. Dreamscape, Inception, Sharkboy and Lavagirl, Slumberland, Orion in the Dark, Lego Dreamzzz, Summer Camp Island, Neil Gaiman's Sandman, both the comic and the TV show. And yes, there's a reference to Nemo and Slumberland in this, but which I don't know if that's where the concept was birthed from. But I'm sorry, I'd be willing to look over if this did enough of its own ideas or was clever enough for me to ignore. And this movie just fails at both. And the acting is, I'll say this, is fine, but while it has sound like Simu Liu, Kristen Miloshi, Sungwon Cho, Craig Robinson, it just isn't much to impress me, though that's probably due for it just being from really not good jokes. I mean, so much of this movie is laser farts and awkward banter. The main range joke is this stuffed animal Robinson plays, abandons his tube in the dream world every chance he gets when things get tough, and yes, he is freaking annoying. Like, my god, is this character annoying. And there are some emotional moments, I'll say this, that work, like 3 specifically. There's a flashback of how the siblings got the stuffed animal. Actually, okay, there was this really good scene where the older sister tells the younger brother about their parents possibly splitting, and without dialogue, it does a good job letting the animation speak louder than words ever could. And I like the conversation the younger brother has with Nightmare, the Nightmare woman thing of this. Other than that, the plot just meanders, and that's the biggest fault there is. It's just meandering. I just didn't care. You know, like when Back to the Future, where Marty has this conception of his parents as who they are as he knows them, and discovers more about them when he goes back in time, and realizes there's something about them that are so different and human compared to, like, you know, how he imagines them as just his parents, compared to, like, how they were at his own age, and, like, you know, it's this rediscovering of these 3-dimensional characters, and how this changes, and it just isn't here. These parents, we just don't get to know them well enough. Other than they were one-hit wonders, the mom is trying to move on, and the dad doesn't want to give up, and that's as far as that goes. In a movie that's focus is about these, like, family just trying to get back together, and I feel like I barely know this family. And I wouldn't call it shallow, but it's not deep or complex. It's the bare minimum. It's better than Netflix's Spellbound, I guess. I did at least like it finds its own voice in the third act, and the thing is, it is about a family falling apart and coming back together from start to finish, unlike Spellbound's worst handling of the subject coming out of nowhere in its movie, but I can at least respect that movie kind of commits to the message that it barely sets up well. Okay, so in here, the movie, as I said, meanders. Like, there's this montage of dreams that feels like it's made for trailers, so you think there's this journey they go on, when really it's just more like a series of cool images for the trailer. I don't know, I could be wrong. It's been a while since I watched the trailer because I have better things to do in my life. But anyways, what I'm getting to is that, however, in the third act, there's a twist to the same main character that, as I was saying before, is its own, and I think it's a good idea. And I don't know, but other than that, it's not much. There's just not much in this movie. Like, at least with Spellbound, it kept to its message about divorce, where this movie, I'm not really sure if it says it's okay for parents to split apart, or it's about accepting change, just not going far enough. It's hard to explain without spoilers, but it's like, it hints at these parents getting apart, and yet it seems like they'll work it out. which I'm not saying I'm against it. It just seems like I'm not sure if the message is that they are going to split up or they are going to, like, I get it, life's unpredictable and you can't make things perfect, but I'm just saying I'm confused what the message is going for. But hey, that's not like it's the worst thing. Again, I think it's handled better here at least. It's just not handled good. But hey, jack of all trades, master of none. I just didn't think this does anything new or clever overall. It felt all over the place, and just no matter how sincere, a copy of several ideas I'd seen before. And as I said, I'd be fine with it if it did its own thing well enough, but this just doesn't. On its own, it'll entertain kids, and the message might come off more clever than it is to them. But this is a sloppy script such as this. But for me, the animation is good, but it pushes no boundaries, and sometimes the humans could come off a bit uncanny valley. Like, it's hard for me to describe without knowing the sort of fundamentals, but it feels like the phases were too realistic for, like, the cartoonish bodies, but that's not here nor there. It's just, frankly, the script isn't up to snuff with what it's trying to go for, and even if it's league beyond the worst I've seen this year, as of now, it's just a mediocre kids movie. A fine mediocre kids movie for kids who aren't familiar with a lot of these tropes or cliches, but it's not impressive in any way on its own for me. The dialogue is mostly bad, the story meanders, there are moments I like, and I can see why for others it would work for them, but it's not enough. Like, this movie, it's no nightmare, but the final product is far from a dream come true. With all that said, I give In Your Dreams a 5 out of 10. Lame as dirt. Netflix wasn't working, so I was hoping to do a double feature of In Your Dreams and then the new Richard Linklater movie. It wasn't working, so this was my only other option. So I watched this out of plain curiosity, since my nostalgia of the Jonas Brothers was, I remember them. I mean, I know they still exist today, but what I'm saying is, that's about it in terms of bias, I guess. I saw Camp Rock as a kid, and some other TV show when I was in elementary school, but I don't even remember a single song they ever made that made them big at the time. Like, I know they were one of those things of a big punching bag at the time, but personally, I just don't remember it. Like, maybe it's because I was more into Big Time Rush at the time, which is another band I would describe from my childhood as, oh my god, I like this? It's fair for me to say I will be unbiased describing this movie. Or maybe I am biased because I don't give a shit. With that being said, I did truly go in with an open mind and saw a lot of decent review scores, so maybe if I give it a chance, I would be in for a surprise. From the director of Quiz Lady and the writers of Love, Simon. Yeah, I won't delay my honest response. This movie is soulless trash. Though not flaming trash, I can certainly see fans of the Jonas Brothers loving this movie because of the bare standards of liking the Jonas Brothers. Premise is simple enough. The Jonas Brothers, after their tour, decided to spend time for the holidays at home with their families, though one of them feels like they aren't as close as they used to be, so a wasted Jesse Tyler Ferguson as Santa curses them, and one after another they attempt to get home for Christmas only for something new to get in the way until they finally open up and learn to love each other again. Because, man, do I not give a shit. The tagline in the movie is, let it bro, let it bro, let it bro. Anyways, positives are, I like Randall Parr, Jesse Tyler Ferguson, and Laverne Cox in this, though they are all abundance material, so that is me going and knowing, oh yeah, I like these people and other things. And also, look, maybe some people will say this is the best part of the movie. I will say, including Will Ferrell, who, while I appreciate his commitment to the bit, like I always do, it was the craziest thing I think I've ever had to see. But, hey, you know, sure, having him be a diehard Jonas Brothers fan. Sure. I have maybe 2 laughs in this, where they consider the foot fetishes to drive them home, and from memory of 2 hours ago, I think one of the Jonas Brothers has this hallucination thing, and literally one of them says, you don't even have to imagine the words for my hallucination for you or something. I don't care, you know, because it's awful. I mean, it's not the worst thing I've ever had to sit through. It's just an awful thing I had to sit through, you know, like compared to being in a dumpster, being forced to eat food from a dumpster. One of them's clearly worse than the other. I don't want either. Anyways, where was I in the script? Oh yeah, that was it in terms of laughs. This movie's just soulless, which even for a made-for-TV movie about this lame-ass band with the most forgettable music I've ever heard in a movie since maybe Sia's music from 2020, this soundtrack is awful and forgettable. Like, seriously, this is some of the most forgettable songs I've seen in the movie in a while, which... Wait, why am I No, I don't care. This story is just repetitive in ways where the plights of these three who are so rich and famous, I couldn't find it relatable considering it's just a movie in a way where I'm just watching them be in this movie rather than, oh man, you know, like when you watch like A Hard Day's Night or Help with the Beatles, and it's like, you know, sure, it's just for fun, but at least I really do feel like it's this band, and like, I feel like I'm with these, you know, famous people in a way where it's like, it's fun to see them go for these misadventures. I just couldn't get into this. And them wanting to get home to her family should be enough for it to be relatable. I never got immersed in this movie because, let me just say this now, God, the Jonas Brothers are horrible actors. They are horrible actors. Like, I remember vaguely liking Nick in the Jumanji movies, but these three are just terrible this movie. Not one of them gives a good performance in any way where... Look, Stans might be coming with me. Torches and pitchforks. Their acting is so bad to make others around them bad. Like Chloe Bennett, which, my God, is she and either... Was it Kevin or Joe, Jonas? I don't care to look up the difference. Have zero chemistry. The jokes weren't funny. I mean, Nick feels upstaged by some fictional Alice, and he got winner. And the punchline is, he sings off key in the end. He's like, how dare you make me sing off key in our stupid riff for Home Alone the musical? I can't believe this Broadway show only lasted 3 weeks. I can't. Anyways, where was I? Oh yeah, the jokes weren't funny. What else? Oh, there was this awful plane crash with very bad CGI because the pilot wants to make thirst traps. Bad hallucinations, as I said before. The camera work that feels Disney Channel, which I don't know if it is because it's supposedly 20th television, so it should be above something made for children. Well, older children. I'm saying even for TV movies that this should be the same level as a Hallmark movie. Now, with that being said, no, that's it. I still hate this movie. I thought this movie was terrible. It's not the worst thing I had to sit through, but God, I don't want to sit through this again. I don't know, man. This movie has the gall to say every Christmas movie as the plot of people trying to get home for the holidays, like it thinks it isn't hanging its lantern. Like, you tell me this in any way comes off to the same way as the ending of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, where I cry every single time John Candy's perfect performance and this movie that is cringe, boring, soulless, and has nothing for anyone if they're not already a Jonas Brothers fan, since this certainly didn't win me over. Look, my biggest takeaway of this movie was finding out Nick Jonas is married to Priyanka Chopra Jonas. Yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, from Heads of State and other things I've seen her in. Planes. And Jesse Tyler Ferguson would make a good Santa in any other Christmas movie. This is just a nothing movie that if fans are satisfied, fair enough, but consider me a 21-year-old who isn't anywhere close to their level of success, so I'm partially jealous they get to star in this horrible movie as themselves, and yet still come off with some of the worst acting in the movie this decade. I give a very Jonas Brothers Christmas movie a 2.5 out of 10, and that's me being generous. Look, it's not the worst thing I've ever had to sit through. Maybe it won't even end up on my worst of the end year list because, I mean, for what it is, but I'm not going to praise this for giving me something worthwhile when, God, I could have watched so many other things. I could have gone to a soup kitchen. Anyways, make sure to like and subscribe.